Congrats on the win, everyone. I just wanted to touch on Sabrina. A couple of moments you had in this game. The third quarter, hit this three, and very effusive celebrating. Again in the fourth quarter, on an and one. It seems like you're having more fun this year. Is that a deliberate decision? And I wonder whether your teammates feel the same way.
I don't think I'm having more fun. I honestly just feel like with the crowd, and especially playing at home, I think just capitalizing on the energy that we have here and knowing that kind of just fuels the team. It fuels me, and understanding how big this game was for us. Obviously, it's a one-game win streak, but we're just wanting to continue to get better and improve. And I think just in the heat of the game, I was just kind of fired up. And I mean, I do it in practice as well. So I would just say I'm just like living in the moment. I'm having so much fun playing alongside the best players that are on my team, and obviously super excited to be able to win.
Sandy, building off of that, I'm curious if you can describe Sabrina's growth by just how she was able to help will the team in the third when the energy was down and when people weren't making shots.
Yeah, look, I think that's the evolution of Sabrina with her maturity as a player, because she still is quite young, but she's achieved so much in her young career, and that's about her growth, like how she can help this team. You know, they were tired, we were tired, 4 games in 7 days to start the season. But yeah, sometimes like any given night, someone else can step up for us. And Sabrina was the one that was giving us that energy tonight, getting downhill, making some shots. But I'm really proud, if I have to say anything, I'm proud of her defense. And she's, you know, and that's an area we thought we knew that she could keep getting better in. But her commitment to excellence has been showing through, and you know, overall, I'm just happy with her defense. I'm happy with our defense because we found a way to win ugly.
So I was going to ask, actually, about that winning ugly. You mentioned before the game toughness as an identity. So I was going to ask if you felt tonight was a tough win in addition to being an ugly win, and what, if any, part of that KT off the bench had to do with that. It was probably her strongest performance of the season. So
yeah, without a doubt. And next man mentality, next woman mentality. And we're trying to hang our hat on defense. We know that's an area that we need to get better at. And it's a commitment from 1 to 11. You know, let's buy into doing the best that you can be with the toughness that we have. KT, it was her best game, and that's how she can help us. She's a dog on defense. And we're still like working it out, but realise how she can help us. Guarding the handler, switching a little bit more. That was effective for us tonight. But those 2 post plays with their rotations and they're protecting the RA behind the ball, I mean, has been great all season long. And that helps to the perimeter players to be aggressive because they know they've got someone behind them, and, you know, including Niara in there as well. And, you know, I'm happy about that. We can keep, you know, offense, we know we're going to be fine on offense, but defensively, if we can do that consistently, and that gives us a good spot to continue to grow.
Hi, everybody. JJ, there were a bunch of possessions throughout the night where you were able to switch out to Skylar Diggins Smith and other Storm players in the perimeter. When you're able to sort of like fly out there and sort of like blow up possessions, how do you think that sort of like uplifts the rest of the defense behind you?
Yeah, I think just being where we're supposed to be, helping my teammates out. I think last year teams kind of wanted to put me in the actions a lot defensively in terms of being the big in the coverage, and I kind of took that personally, and I've been coming into the season really focusing on that and really trying to execute our defensive schemes and stuff out there. So, yeah.
For Breanna, in the second quarter, was there anything Seattle was doing defensively that really helped, I guess, limit you guys offensively, or were you getting the shots you wanted but just weren't making them?
I think they obviously picked up their intensity, and the ball was kind of getting stuck a lot. We weren't able to kind of flow through anything or move it to multiple sides. And that was really the reason that we struggled to score in that quarter. But we went into halftime like aware of it, and I feel like that's the growth of this team. Is like we know what we need to do, and come back out in the second and make sure that we were moving it.
Sandy, you talked about being a little bit tired, 4 games in 7 days. Does that affect how you coach like the last game of this stretch? And now that you have a couple of days before your next one, what does the schedule look like now, Tuesday, Wednesday?
They're off tomorrow. They need to go have some rest. Yeah, it's grueling, but you know, get your rest while you can, because there's not many days that you can have, you know, days off And then we'll come back on Wednesday and we'll refocus and just focus on Chicago. And we'll be motivated for that because they kicked our butt in preseason. And I know it's preseason, but, we won't let that happen again. So we'll be ready. And it's about our growth. We talk about this is how do we want to play at both ends of the floor. That's our identity, and we've got to keep working on that daily.
Hey, Sandy. Seattle's star trio of SDS, Drew Lloyd, and Ezzy shot 29% tonight, along with the defensive rotations from the forwards you mentioned. What else do you think kind of worked to limit them tonight?
Yeah, look, I think we're just executing this the scouting plan that we have. We put in place. Jill Lloyd, she's an amazing scorer, so we try to keep two people on her as much as we can, and we crowded her. And Skylar's still getting her legs back. We crowded her and forced him into low percentage shots. And same thing with Ezzy. I thought Stewie knows her pretty good, so she played to her tendencies quite well there. And they had a tough shooting night, but they're capable of going off too, and we've seen that in the past. So really happy just how intentional we were on the defensive end and stopping their key players.
How did this matchup compare to Indiana, the last two games, and also working in the other players like Kayla?
I think the Indiana games were, for me at least, a little bit more physical. I think we had a little bit more attention on like some of the other players out there, like the guards. I mean, other than Caitlin Clark, but like Jewel Lloyd, Skylar Diggins. They had like two guards that could really go off on us, so we had a little bit more attention on them. But I mean, ultimately, it's about us and how we play and what we want to do. And we know that if we kind of execute the game plan and we come out the other way that we want to, like we can beat any team in this league.
Hi, back here. For Sabrina or Breanna, either of you, Sab, you've hit Stewie a couple of times now on those no-look cuts to the rim in these first few games on the baseline. What are you two, now that you've got this extra year of chemistry, seeing from one another that you've got that little ESP going?
Yeah, I mean, I think just like you said, I think having a year together, we don't nearly have to communicate as much on the court anymore because we can kind of just play off one another and read. And I think that's obviously been the growth of this team is just being able to play a season together last year. Coming into this year, we've kind of picked up where we left off, and people are getting used to my passes. I'm getting used to the way that people are playing as well, and obviously still had a little too many turnovers tonight, but it's been really nice to just see how we've been able to move the ball and do so without necessarily play calling, just because we're so familiar with one another. And she knows, and all our team knows, as long as we continue to move, me or Sluty are going to find one another. And so I think that's kind of the growth of this team in this year, and we've been able to see it so far in the first 4 games.
Hello, all. Congrats on the win. My question will be for Coach. What was your message? What was your message to the team in the halftime locker room after that 9-9 second period? And where do you think they adapted the most going into the second to secure the win?
Yeah, look, I think one of these players already said, I think Stewie talked about, we just were looking for a touchdown pass on the first action, and we became too individual, and that's not how we need to play, how we have the most success. We counted the 50-50 balls. I think it was 6-2, and it was got pretty ugly out there. But what I liked about it is, in the past we might have just, crumbled a little bit and gave up 30 points. But we played as hard as we can, because you can control what you can do on defense. That's just by competing. The ball may not always go in the hole. But once we focus on just making sure they're playing the right way, we have our principles that we live and die by. It's with movement, good to great, paint to great, and that helped us on the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, we weren't as great, but still we just moved the ball. That's the hardest to guard in basketball.
Sabrina, over here. Last year you had 4 games of 8 or more points in the paint. This year already you have 2 games of such. Just what has that been to go and be more aggressive, and what does that open up for this team offensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I took into the offseason and really worked on, understanding that I have my 3-point shot, but to continue to help the team to be able to just manipulate defenses and get into the paint, which allows, the extra pass, defenses to collapse, my ability to go up, get fouled, and understanding that sometimes the 3-point shot's not going to go in, and sometimes defenses are going to guard it really well. And so continuing to expand my game and understanding how that's going to help my teammates and how that's going to help this team win.
Thank you. Coach, earlier today I asked you about, wanting keep Stewie sustaining her energy throughout the rest of the season, and you made it clear that you want to make sure that it's not all on Stewie. With 4 starters in double figures today, you and the rest of the ladies up here, how does it feel, and what does it mean to have that kind of support this early in the season and going forward?
Yeah, I think it's really important. It's a long season. We're only 4 games in, but we have wonderful offensive players, and it's just playing in the right way and moving the ball and staying true to what our identity is, but trying to put them in spots where they can have success as well, because they're all great players. And, you know, I had mentioned I probably overplayed them all last year, but I probably had to play them a little bit more today to try and get that win, but they have a day off tomorrow, so I don't feel so bad. I'll freshen them up a little bit. But, you know, they're professionals. They compete so hard, and they've got this unique set of skills, and we haven't even touched... We've got so much more. We know we can continue to grow, and that's what excites me. And hopefully, we'll, you know, by the end of the year, it's going to be really even, you know, way smoother than it was today.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.